Now, Spaza shops and small businesses in general have a very positive impact in our society as well as our economic development as South Africa. However, studies have shown that a number of Spaza shop owners, especially migrants, face a lot of challenges when it comes to extortion, to crime, and a lot of other different challenges that come with xenophobia and the xenophobic attacks that they usually experience while trying to run their businesses. I'm your host Lelethu, and today we will look into some of the challenges that are faced by migrant shop owners, specifically those who own shops in townships and previously disadvantaged areas. We look into some of these challenges that they face, and we are joined today by Zaki, who's going to be giving us some of the perspectives and some of the experiences that he has seen in some of these Spaza shops. Now, please do not forget to join in on our social media conversations. Let us know what you think. What do you think are some of the challenges that are faced by migrant business owners in South Africa? On Instagram, we are official Africa_Unite ZA. On Twitter, we are Africa_Unite_ZA. And on Facebook, we are Africa Unite. Zaki, thank you so much for joining us on the show and welcome.
Thank you, Lelethu, for having me, you and to the crew.
Thank you. So I wanted to check first quickly. You are part of the Somali community in the Western Cape. You are one of the co-directors. What work do you actually do in the community, just as background before we move into everything?
So once again, I would like to thank you, Lelethu, and to Africa Unite, and to the Cape Town TV and their crew. So as a Somali community of the Western Cape, we mainly focus on the locations where most of the migrant workers actually work and live, not in suburb areas where the crime is very low. So we go into that area, we try to integrate the community and the Spaza shop owners to tell them that actually these guys are living with you. You guys must, instead of locking someone inside, you must come out and speak to the community and coexist each other. So we try to bridge that gap. Also, what we do is we help when there's violence every night and they don't even have to call an ambulance. They don't know the
they
police.
Don't know who to call,
So instead of calling 10-111, they will phone us. So we go in, we phone the local authorities, and then we take the the wounded to the hospital, and the dead we buried them. So just last week we buried almost 8 Spaza shop owners who were killed in Yanga and Philippi. So that's the work that we do.
Wow. So you are more integration, but also assisting with anything that the migrant shop owners need, because they're usually secluded in the community.
So even in terms of, someone moved from, let's say, from Ethiopia or from Somalia. He came to the Republic of South Africa hoping for a better life. Then his expectation is, all right, I'm going to be living a good life. Then he goes into a location like Kailicha or Philippi. Then he's locked inside a cell. It's literally a prison he's only holding the keys, but it's a prison. It doesn't get out for 30 days or maybe 2 months. So he's locked in there. He's not aware of what is South Africa. The South Africa that he's living is within the confined walls that he's locked himself in. And the expectation that the community are having is, what is this guy doing inside the shop? He's making money and he's living a good life. But so we're trying to bridge that gap.
So you've literally just touched on my next question now, because I wanted to check, what do you think then are some of the most common challenges that migrant shop owners or business owners in South Africa face? Just maybe a few that you've noticed.
So when it comes to challenges, I think the challenges are a lot. So let's say, for example, this morning I came to this studio. I'm a migrant in this studio. If I need a toilet, if I need a water, if I need anything, unless I get help from one of the crew, I don't know where to go. So the challenges means
not having people to assist.
Not having people to assist when it comes from the authorities, from the UN agencies, or from even non-profit organizations like us. We say we help, but to the extent of what help we
you
do,
can do.
Doing a BR stand or holding functions doesn't help someone who's locked inside the cell. So the challenge is that someone who worked in a Spaza shop faces, it's not something that A, B, C, D.
Yeah, that you can outline.
Yes.
So
that
it's
is-
many different challenges.
Yeah, but the main that I can tell is security, environmental issues,
Yeah.
lack of proper documentations, uh, lack of even human connections.
Yes,
You understand?
yes.
Like as a human, we can't live like animals.
Proper integration, like you said.
understand? Yeah. So I think those are the four major issues. Lack
Yeah.
of security. You don't feel a sense of security when you're
don't feel
walking in the
safe.
shop. Even the person who's coming to buy a bread, in your head you're thinking, will he buy a bread or will he shoot me? You understand?
Yeah.
When the police come, you'll think, is he gonna buy or is he gonna ask me a documentation? You understand?
Yeah.
If the community elder comes, you will think, is he gonna tell me close the shop or is he gonna buy the bread?
Yeah.
So there's all that
All those
challenges
small-
that
yeah,
people
yeah.
are facing.
Wow.
So
okay.
it's not like a list of.
Yeah, you can't really outline them and
Yes,
list them because I can imagine all of them are also interrelated with the documentation, with the the certificates that are also needed.
Yes.
Yeah, but let's get into that after the break. After the break, we continue talking about some of the challenges that are faced by migrant business owners living in South Africa, and we still have Zeki here in studio with us. He'll be sharing some of his experiences, as he's mentioned, some of them a bit, but he'll be sharing some of his experiences and his story, how he got into South Africa, and some of the solutions and things that he thinks can be implemented in the country to make sure that we curb this very, very serious issue. Now, please don't forget to join in on the social media conversations. Remember, we are on Instagram, Twitter, as well as Facebook. Have a look. Let us know what you think as well are some of the challenges. Let's continue the conversations online. Please stay tuned. And welcome back. We are still talking to Zaki, discussing some of the challenges that are faced by migrant business owners when they try to make a living in South Africa. And we would like to know your thoughts as well. What do you think are some of those challenges? But most importantly, how do you think we can work together to make sure that both community members as well as migrant business owners are safe in communities? Now, let us know what you think on our Instagram, on our Twitter, as well as our Facebook. Now, Zaki, we spoke about the challenges, right? Now, I really want us to get into your story, how you came to South Africa, how you started your businesses, and some of the challenges that you personally have faced. How did you get to South Africa? Where are you from? And what business do you run and all that?
Thank you once again, Lelethu. My journey to South Africa was quite long. I came here when I was very young, at 13 years old. I think I was 12 or 13, I'm not sure.
Yes.
But at that age, traveling alone, going to overseas, going through the uncertainties, going through human trafficking to get to skipping the borders, I decided to come to South Africa.
Yeah. So you came alone?
I came alone.
Wow.
So I'm from Somalia, so you can imagine the gap between Somalia and South Africa.
Yeah.
So it took me about, I think, two months.
Wow.
Traveling alone, and I didn't even have money or someone to
Yes, I can imagine.
to take you over to the next border or to keep you at night. So I would have slept on the bushes sometimes.
Wow.
Stayed in the bush for about 20 or 40 days. At some point I got lost. Then I didn't know even where I was.
But
So
you knew you were going to South Africa?
I was new. Yeah, my thoughts were, okay, if I get to South Africa, maybe it's going to be better. And the reason I'm left my back home Somalia is because of the war. It's not like I was angry or I wanted to make more money to go out of the country. So my family, some of them decided to go to the other part of the world, to Europe.
Yeah. And you guys kept in touch throughout?
No.
Wow.
Because even back then, I think it was 2007, 2008, there was no even this communication. Social media was very limited. And I was actually young. I couldn't afford the phone at that time. So my family didn't know where I was until 1 year later.
Wow.
And I didn't even know some of my family where they were. I didn't even know if they were dead or. So after we settled and we get hold of each other. So some decided to go to that route, but I decided to go to the African route. I was alone. I came to South Africa. I knew no one. I came to Joburg, Mayfair, stand on the pavement. Then luckily, someone from the mosque came out asking me, "What do you do here? What's your family? When did you come?" So I just explained to him, "No, I just came now. I tried to call someone, but he's not answering." So he took me in. He take me to our accommodation and give me food that night. And the next morning, he just helped me. So I don't even know the name of that guy. I would have thanked him a lot. So then from there, I decided to come to Cape Town. Once I came to Cape Town, there was someone that I went to the same school with that I found in Cape Town. I stayed with him for about 3 months in his Spaza Shop. And I started working from that point.
Wow.
At the age of 13, I worked in a Spaza Shop. I worked in Kailicha, Harare. So, but luckily, I went to school at early age, so I knew English a little bit. So I was communicating with the local Harare and community. So I was actually going outside, meeting people. Then I decided, now I can't do this. I must go and study.
Yes.
Then I went back to school, did my high school, then I did university.
And how did it work with the documents? Because I'm assuming then, since you ran from your country.
I skipped that.
Yes.
So that time when you come to the border, by the border post, there used to be a home affairs by the border post.
Okay, great.
They take you in, they interview you, they give you a 14 days document to tell you go to the nearest refugee reception office.
Okay.
But I think that office is closed now, if I'm not mistaken. Then I got that I couldn't get that document because I was too young. That's the other scary thing that happened to me, because I need to have a guardian, and I didn't have a guardian with me.
Yeah.
So one of the people who I was traveling with, I knew him from said I will take him in. I received the document that way.
Yeah.
And when I came to Cape Town, I went to the refugee reception in, I think it was in Yanga or Maitland, I'm not sure. Then I went in, I got interviewed, I tell them my story. They said, no, you qualify for a refugee. And I got a Section 24 permit.
Yeah.
That allowed me to work
Yeah.
and study in South Africa.
Wow.
So I tried to work, but it was too harsh for me. And even there was...
So you were still working at the Spaza Shop?
Yes. But after I got my Section 24 permit. Because immediately I came, I went to the refugee reception office.
Yeah.
I think you normally go there on, I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yes.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
They interview you, then they tell you, come back after 6 months, you go there. They first give you a document called Islam. Once you receive the Islam, then if you qualify for a refugee and your story meets the criteria, then you get a Section 24 permit.
Yeah. So you worked and you studied all at the same time?
Yes. So I used to study at night.
Wow.
And work during the day. Because financially, you are not... If I don't work, I can't pay for my studies.
Yes.
And I don't... You know, there's a lot of NGOs...
So by 13, you were already paying for your studies? 13, 14?
I was 13 that time.
Wow.
So end of 13 years, I was already paying for my studies.
Wow.
Because I worked during that... I used to wake up 4 o'clock in the morning. Then open the shop, help in the shop. Then around 7 o'clock, I go to night school. So from there, you know, I get... Because what helped me is me going out of the confinement.
Yeah.
Because if I could have locked in that confinement, I couldn't have even studied.
Yeah.
And if I didn't know how to say, how are you, I couldn't have even found a school. You understand?
Yeah.
So that's my story.
Wow.
So just to add to the point, and I don't know if I'm moving ahead of your questions.
Go ahead.
I came to South Africa, and part of my family went to Europe. The difference between me and them, after a decade or so, is I'm still an outsider in South Africa. And they are. My sister is a Finnish citizen, my brother is a Norwegian, and I have other brother who's a Hollandese.
Wow.
You understand? Some of them are running for the local governments.
Yeah.
Imagine.
Wow.
And it's in Europe.
Wow.
So if I could have went to Europe,
You
I
would
could
have
have
been a
been
citizen.
some of them.
So how long are you here for in total? How long have you been?
15 years now.
15 years.
Yeah.
Wow. Let's have that chat again after the break. Very, very interesting stuff there. Please don't forget once again to join in on the social media conversations. Let us know what your story is if you are a migrant. Let us know what you think are some of the, the important challenges that are faced by migrants while trying to integrate in South Africa. Don't forget, we are on Instagram, we are on Twitter, and we are on Facebook. Please stay tuned. Zaki is still here with us, sharing his very interesting story. We'll see you after the break. And welcome back. We're still discussing some of the challenges that are faced by migrants, Spaza Shop owners, when they try to integrate themselves into South Africa and they try to make a living. We're still joined by Zaki here, and he was sharing his story. But please don't forget to join in on the social media conversations. Let us know what you think. Well, how do you think we can work together going forward to make sure that communities as well as migrant shop owners are protected? Now, Zaki, you've touched on a lot on your story, and I wish we had more time to discuss everything. Just let us know, where are you currently? I know you're currently also a business owner, and you also work with the organization, and you co-directing, right? Where are you currently? What are you doing? And yeah.
So currently I'm in Piavel. I'm situated in Bellville, Cape Town, South Africa. But Piavel is a suburb.
Yes.
And it's a CBD. So, and I go to the locations very often because I work with the Spaza Shop owners.
Yes.
To give them what I've learned throughout the years and to prevent not them
going through the same
what I've went through. So my focus, what I'm doing now is mostly, I can say 80% of my work is working with assisting the Spaza Shop owners.
Okay, yeah. That's great. And I'm sure you've seen now recently on the news and on social media the uproar on the expired goods, the illicit goods that are being sold to children. I think two children died recently of food poisoning because of the food. What are your thoughts on that? What do you think about that? What do you make of that?
So, to go back to where I started, if the community and the Spaza Shop owners doesn't work together, such thing could have been prevented.
Yeah.
But what is causing that is, and when it comes to the food, the expired food,
yeah,
it's a very sensitive issue.
Very.
I don't think the Spaza Shop owners willingly sell expired food to the community. You understand?
Yeah.
Some of them are illiterate. They don't even know the expiry date on the what do you call
on the food,
on the product.
On the product.
So it's not just the Spaza Shop owners that are producing or are selling the the expired food. It might be the manufacturers who are selling the Spaza Shop owners unwillingly. Then they sell to the community without even knowing that this product expired, because you can understand someone who didn't go to school, who doesn't know how to read and write, who doesn't know even for example, the Ethiopian community, they are 5 years behind of us in terms of calendar.
Yeah.
I think they are in 20, I'm not 5 years from, if we go back, it's 2019.
2019, yes.
2019.
Yes.
So you can imagine someone who, in his head, is in 2019, and he sees a product in 2024.
Yeah.
It's automatically not expired. It's 5 years ahead of his time.
Yeah.
But if we, so
it's not really intentional. It's just a lack of awareness and education.
Yeah. So what I always say is, there's a lack of orientation. These people that are locked in this Spaza Shop have no clear, concise idea of what they are doing and how they are doing it.
Yeah.
You understand? So it's not just them that are the issue, it's also the community and the authorities that needs to come and say, okay, this is how we live, this is what we do, this is how we operate.
Yeah.
You understand?
And you mentioned something about Holland as well, one of your family members being there. Yes. And I know they have an orientation program there where you go through the bylaws, you go through some of the standards if you're going to be running a business. you go through some of the languages. So do you think something like that would maybe help in South Africa?
Definitely, because it will also depend on the personal of the personal caliber of the person.
Yeah.
You understand? For example, in Holland, they can keep you for 6 months.
Yeah.
Some of the people are kept for 2 years.
Yes.
So you can imagine someone who's been kept for 6 months and 2 years, they don't have the basic, what do you call, education needed for him to be left after 6 months.
Yeah.
That's why it took him 2 years.
Yeah.
So someone that opened a Spaza Shop, who is similar to someone that should be kept for 2 years.
Yeah.
You can imagine what damage he can do to the community.
Yeah.
And then the paint that the price is being painted over every Spaza Shop owner. And there are Spaza Shop owners that are well equipped, they are well trained,
Yeah.
they have the proper documentations in terms of health and standard, in terms of the law enforcement area that they are. They are connected to the authorities. Their shops are clean. They don't have any expiry food because they know the expiry date. They know the product that they are buying.
Yeah.
So, but we are all in the same category.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes. Yes.
So someone who doesn't have the knowledge and someone who's been in this Spaza Shop for more than 20 years that knows what he's doing is pinpointed in the same brush.
Yeah.
So when the media comes or the social media, what's happening is, okay, this Spaza Shop owners are selling expiry food.
As if it's malicious or it's intentional.
Yeah, and there's no like somewhere to categorize and say, okay, this is that and this is that.
Yeah. So do you think then that the main solution or one of the solutions would be to educate migrants and to have an orientation sort of program in South Africa?
I think the most problem is the lack of awareness.
Yes.
The Department of Health can maybe hold a workshop for
migrants.
monthly or quarterly or whatever, or even online.
Yes.
Explaining to them in their mother tongue, because you know you speak English, the person doesn't even know what they have learned is, my friend, give me bread. How much is the bread? It's 2 rand.
Yeah.
So someone that knows that, you come to him and you ask him, where's your health certificate? He's gonna think health certificate is in the fridge.
Yeah.
You understand? And he will come back and to you, he will tell you, Aiko health certificate.
Yeah.
So you can imagine the language barrier also. So even if we can have a program where we can tell the community in their mother tongue, explain to them, you need to have a certain document, you need to clean your shop, you need to check your product daily.
Yeah.
We give them a checklist. I don't think that issue is going to come back.
Okay. All right. Great. Thank you so much for coming to the show and sharing your insights. Any last words or any advice for any migrant shop owner out there who's also trying to navigate their way through South Africa, just like yourself, you know, back then?
So, thank you, Lelethu. My final thought is, Spaza Shop owners are not willingly selling expiry food. They don't want to sell expiry food because they also buying the food.
Yes.
They are not getting it for free, and nobody wants to buy expiry food from the manufacturers.
Yeah.
That's number one. The other thing is, they want to be regulated. They don't want to roam freely, but they don't have where to go, who to call, what to do. Going back to my first initial, what I said is, I come to this studio, I don't know where to go. The Spaza Shop sector is just like that. I have a friend in Joburg who always tells me, we're also willing to teach this to the local community. We are not just holding it back.
Yeah.
We want to train them and show them
how to make their own businesses.
How to make their own Spaza Shops. So they can even come to us and tell us, okay, you have a Spaza Shop, you're operating. Because I have seen a lot of friends who tried to open a Spaza Shop and failed. We can even teach them the techniques and how they work and how you operate. So that's all I can say.
Thank you so much for joining us, Saki. That was very insightful. And thank you so much to the viewers as well back at home for joining us. But don't remember, the conversation doesn't end here. Let us know on our social media pages what you think. How do you think South Africa, or the government, what do you think can be done to properly work together and come up with solutions on how everyone can be kept safe, whether it's the community members or the Spaza Shop owners? Let us know what your thoughts are on there. Let us know on our social media pages, and we will see you next week. Please keep safe and keep well. See you on the next episode next week. Goodbye.